stop wasting hundreds of dollars every year on exterminator contracts that treat the symptoms while the real problem keeps coming back. Most of us assume we need professional chemical foggers and toxic synthetic sprays to protect our living spaces. But the pest control industry has a direct financial incentive to keep you on a recurring plan. Therefore, they will never tell you that a simple $1 bottle sitting on your pharmacy shelf outperforms their chemistry in 9 critical ways. Today, we are mapping the exact biochemistry of this natural shield, showing you step by step how to unlock it, including an evolutionary mouse trick that convinces them to pack their bags overnight, and a post-war marketing campaign that buried this cheap lifesaver. When pests like fungus gnats, thrips, or root aphids invade, our instinct is to swat the flying adults. But adult pests represent less than 15% of the total infestation. Focusing entirely on the flyers is like trying to dry a flooded basement by mopping the floor while the pipes are still bursting. As long as the eggs in your soil keep hatching, you'll keep calling the professionals back. But hydrogen peroxide is a powerful oxidizer. When it contacts organic matter, it releases hydroxyl-free radicals that aggressively rupture the soft, protective membranes of pest eggs and larvae on contact. It doesn't just clean up after the party, it cancels the party entirely. What is most surprising is that this same liquid actually falls from the sky. A heavy summer rain makes our gardens look infinitely more vibrant than municipal tap water ever can. The reason is molecular. Hydrogen peroxide forms naturally in our atmosphere when sunlight and water vapor interact, meaning every single raindrop carries a trace amount of this compound directly to the earth. Traditional practices of soaking seeds in rainwater collected in clay pots weren't just romantic, they were practicing valid seed priming. The peroxide acts as a biological on-switch, interacting with plant hormones to break seed dormancy and trigger rapid germination. This evolutionary survival radar extends far beyond plants, right into the walls of your home. If you have mice in your crawl spaces, exterminators will gladly sell you expensive bait traps and monthly contracts. But in the wild, the smell of an oxidizing wound is a biological red alert. It means a predator is nearby, or a colony member has died. Soaking a simple cotton ball in 3% hydrogen peroxide mimics that exact scent of active tissue oxidation. To a mouse, that cabinet is no longer a cozy pantry, it is a fresh crime scene. It triggers a deep-seated evolutionary avoidance response, convincing the rodent to move its entire family out overnight. It's clean, non-toxic, and costs about 3 cents. But using this drugstore liquid inside your home can also have unexpected consequences, especially if you've already paid for professional treatments. If you hired a service to spray a synthetic pesticide barrier around your foundation, they likely used persistent chemicals, like neonicotinoids, to keep insects out for months. But spraying hydrogen peroxide nearby to handle a mildew patch will neutralize those very chemicals. Peroxide is such a powerful oxidizer that it accelerates the hydrolysis and photodegradation of synthetic pesticides, tearing their molecular structure apart on contact. The bugs can now walk right across the border, and the exterminator gets to sell you a booster treatment. This endless cycle of spraying is built on a massive biological fallacy. Exterminators claim they must rotate their chemical formulas because bugs build immunity to synthetic neurotoxins. And they're right. Insects mutate rapidly to block chemical receptors. But pests cannot build resistance to hydrogen peroxide. Peroxide kills via physical oxidation, releasing hydroxyl-free radicals that physically burn and rupture the cellular walls of soft-bodied insects, larvae, and eggs on contact. A pest can no more evolve a resistance to physical cell combustion than you can evolve a resistance to fire. Your $1 bottle remains 100% effective forever. This physical, non-residual contact method is why hospitals and sanitariums relied on it long before modern synthetics existed. In 1944, a massive tuberculosis sanitarium faced a catastrophic, whole-house bedbug infestation, with highly vulnerable respiratory patients in every ward. they couldn't use harsh chemicals. Instead, a nurse named Mary Eckelman used a simple hydrogen peroxide formula to completely sterilize the bedding and wall crevices. The total cost was just $14. The eradication was absolute, non-toxic, and completed in days. Yet her story was buried in medical archives. This erasure was not accidental. It was economic. After World War II, chemical conglomerates had giant stockpiles of synthetic chemicals like DDT. Therefore, they launched an aggressive marketing campaign in 1947, ridiculing traditional, low-cost remedies as old-fashioned. Because hydrogen peroxide is a naturally occurring molecule, it cannot be patented. With no commercial incentive, research into its agricultural uses was completely defunded, and it was rebranded as a mild wound antiseptic. But biology doesn't care about marketing budgets. Skeptics will tell you that hydrogen peroxide is too blunt because it kills soil bacteria indiscriminately. And it does kill microbes on contact. But the moment peroxide decomposes, it breaks down into pure water and oxygen, leaving zero toxic residue. Anaerobic pathogens, the bad guys that cause root rot, thrive in stagnant, low-oxygen environments. But beneficial aerobic microbes, like Bacillus and Pseudomonas, absolutely love oxygen. In the oxygen-rich environment left behind, these beneficial good guys recover and recolonize the soil significantly faster than the pathogens. It chemically aerates the root zone, curing root rot and sparking massive root expansion. But before you mix a batch, we must build a non-negotiable safety wall. Before we look at the recipes, we must understand that health influencers often promote 35% food-grade hydrogen peroxide for internal use, claiming it cures chronic diseases. This is an incredibly dangerous linguistic trap. Food-grade refers only to chemical purity for industrial processing. It is never safe to ingest. Ingesting even a small amount of concentrated peroxide causes catastrophic gas embolisms, oxygen bubbles in the bloodstream that lead to strokes, organ failure, and death. Always stick strictly to standard 3% drugstore-grade peroxide. Never mix hydrogen peroxide and vinegar in the same container, as it produces corrosive peracetic acid. And if you have had an organ transplant, avoid handling peroxide entirely, as the oxidative signal can reactivate the immune system and trigger organ rejection. Follow the dilution matrix exactly. Let the biology do the work, and the results will show up faster than you think. Here are the precise dilution guidelines. For a foliar pest spray targeting spider mites, thrips, and aphids, use a 1-to-1 ratio of 3% peroxide and water. For a soil drench, targeting fungus gnat larvae and eggs, use a 1-to-4 ratio of peroxide to water. For active root rot or fungal disease rescue, use 1 tablespoon of peroxide per cup of water. And for a weekly preventative foliar maintenance spray, mix just 1 teaspoon of peroxide per cup of water. Within 24 hours of your first soil drench, the larvae in your potting mix will be neutralized. By day 7, the root zone will be chemically aerated, and you'll see a surge in dark green leaf vigor. And by day 14, your plants will be fully established in a pest-free, biologically balanced soil system. Now, which of these 9 peroxide secrets surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below, using just 3 words. If you know a fellow gardener, currently trapped in an expensive contract, share this video with them. It might just rescue their pocketbook.